Ndamukong, thanks for being with us. Good to talk to you again, my friend. Did you in any way, shape, or form think, we're probably going to put 55 up on the Rams when you got off the bus?
You never know what can happen. It's any given Sunday, and we obviously know that as a team, and especially on our offensive side of the ball, seeing them every single day in practice, they've got a lot of talent over there. So it's just about us going out there and executing, and from the defense side of the ball, giving them many opportunities to do so.
When you got that ball at the end of the game, was there any doubt you were scoring, or did you think someone was going to run you down?
There was no doubt that I was scoring. If you could go back and look at the tape, I looked down to my right and saw Rob, their right tackle, reach out for me, and I was like, "There's no way he's taking me down. I'm going to go touch this end zone."
That'd be Rob Havenstein, who, of course, was teammates of him last year, so he knew that Rob wasn't getting him.
And Ndamukong, just as a former defensive lineman myself, just let people know how film session would have gone had an offensive lineman tackled you.
Absolutely terrible. To get hawked down by an offensive lineman as a more athletic defensive lineman as we see ourselves would have been an embarrassment. So I definitely couldn't let that happen.
Talking to Ndamukong Suh with us, Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive tackle. You mentioned the performance of your offense. Jameis Winston gets talked about so much, one of these lightning rod quarterbacks as people are trying to decide his future there. When you came over and you mentioned saw this offense in practice every day, what did you notice about Jameis right away that stood out to you?
He's got a great arm. He can make every single throw, very knowledgeable, understands what he needs to get done. And then it just comes down to execution and making the right decisions, as it is for every single particular athlete, especially when we're playing out there with live bullets. So it's always exciting, and to be able to be here and see him continue to grow is great. And I've enjoyed our one-on-one conversations and look forward to many more of them.
Ndamukong Suh with us, who, of course, started his career with the Lions, then went on to Miami, spent last year with the Rams, and now is in Tampa. And one thing that isn't discussed a lot with you and Ndamukong is you haven't missed a game since 2011 in game starts. How do you attribute your longevity in a position that you play, which is on the interior of the line of scrimmage, where you've been able to be out there and be available to your teammate for that much time?
Yeah, honestly, it's been a true blessing. It's very, very hard and something that I pride myself on it. But outside of the blessings, I would say without question has to do with the team that's surrounded by me and that takes care of me week in and week out. And a lot of those guys sit over there at Nike's campus where I'm at in the off season. Spend a lot of my time back home, just in the kitchen, find new ways to grow and change my body and be prepared for the long, grueling season. Because going on my 10th year now, I have some expectations of what's going to transpire. But at the same time, I always pride myself on being able to, play throughout the entire game, let alone for the entire season.
Yeah, and put a number to that. You started 119 consecutive games. It's the longest streak among NFL defensive linemen. We talked to Ndamukong Suh out in Nebraska years ago, covered him when he was in college, calling his games, and seeing you then go to the NFL. I thought you were one of the best hand-playing defensive linemen coming out of college into the NFL. You just talked kind of about diet-wise how you've changed over the years. How about on the field? What's been the biggest change you've seen in yourself on the field from your rookie year to now your 10th year?
I think the biggest thing is understanding that the best player I can be is surrounded with the guys around me. So the better I can teach those guys and make them better and allow them to play and flourish, the more successful I'm going to be. And so being able to be around Shaq Barrett, around Vita Vea, Will Golston, Bo Allen, all these guys that are young and very hungry and got great talent, and help them reach new heights is going to only help myself. And we see that with Shaq and him leading the league right now. And then Will coming right behind him, as well as Bo and Vita Vea. I mean, you could see the freakishness that Vita was doing, spinning left and right and touching the quarterback and meeting there. So it's a lot of fun. And I think the biggest part of my game that's evolved outside of individual success and finding ways to be successful is helping the guys around me.
Talking to Ndamukong Suh with us in the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, Golic and Wingo here on ESPN Radio. Last year you played for a guy who's well known as a great defensive coordinator in Wade Phillips, and this year you guys get Todd Bowles. You mentioned that collection of talent, but what has Todd Bowles brought to the table that's helped this unit?
I've known Todd Bowles for a long time, and I knew when he was in Arizona. We met through a mutual friend, and I've always wanted the opportunity to play underneath him, and it almost came true last year with him up there at the Jets, but some things transpired. But nonetheless, I'm happy to be underneath him now, and I mean, he's a very, very smart coach and has great game plans, and so that's one great thing. I have comfort of going into each and every single game that we're going to have an amazing game plan. It's just us up front and in the secondary to shut down the run, which is more so a mentality versus scheme in a lot of ways. And then obviously he's going to dial it up, and we're going to get after quarterbacks and after the passing game.
Ndamukong Suh with us, the Bucs defensive tackle. Ndamukong, I want to talk to you about what went on with Vontaze Burfict on the field Sunday in Indianapolis. Obviously, for the people who know you, you've had some issues in your past with people who take umbrage with some of the things that you've done on the field, but you've been able to be out there and play, and you've had to adapt your game. What do you make of a guy like Vontaze who continues to make the same mistakes over and over again, is now facing a season-long suspension?
Yeah, I really can't speak too much on Vontaze's situation just because I haven't seen the play. I've just seen some of the highlights, or not the highlights, but the articles come across my phone and whatnot. And it's unfortunate to see somebody of that talent get suspended for the season. But I'm sure the league has their particular reasons, and I'm sure Vontaze will take the right course and I'm assuming appeal it and whatnot. But at the end of the day, us as athletes, we have to continue to adjust and adapt. And people don't understand and realize each and every single year there's tons and tons of rules in this league that change, that we have to adjust and adapt to. So it's not a consistent basis of here's black and white rules of what you can and cannot do. There's tons and tons of rules we have to adjust to, and especially on the defense side of the ball, as everybody knows, it's a big offensive game.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.